If a person has passed through a peaceful country to get to Australia, how may they ever be considered for refugee status? Why didn't they seek protection in one of the countries that they transited through? Why risk trying to make it all the way to Australia? That's nearly at the end of the line and may involve a dangerous sea voyage across shark-infested waters. Now, allegedly, there's been 10 or 12 so people land in far north Queensland in the last few days. So, of course, the question is, how secure are the northern approaches to Australia? And how much funding may the current regime have been cutting from Border Force for this? Now, before I go on, I've got to point out something that I saw on social media recently from the former PM of Australia, Tony Abbott. And I'm not saying anything bad or negative about the former PM, and don't quote me word for word, but I just want to read out a little bit of what he said in a speech, and then go over what the party he's a member of voted against compared to the current regime. PM goes on to say, to green left cultural Marxist governments, the current government, mass migration from the global south is not a problem. It's the plan. It's the way for supposedly unjustly rich countries to atone for their white privilege and to apologise to poorer ones by becoming more like them. It's pretty hard to argue against any of that. Fantastic. And if you look at what the current regime tried to put forward when it comes to immigration, compared to what the current opposition voted against, it's almost hard to put the two together. Back in 2024, there was a bill put forward called something like the Migration Amendment Bill. It was proposed by the current regime, and in my opinion, it was fantastic. And my hat's off to the current Australian Prime Minister and all his ministers for putting this forward. Now, agreeably, it may have been a bit of a stunt, they may have never used it, but that's not the point. It was proposed, and it was opposed. That what I just read, how does this match up? Because the Migration Amendment Bill 2024, the main crux, the main gist of it was when there's a non-citizen that is to be removed from Australia, and that non-citizen has exhausted all avenues to stay in Australia, then if that non-citizen refuses to cooperate with their removal from Australia, they may face mandatory jail time of something like 1 or 5 years, and that may have been Senator Hanson who moved on that part of the bill. It's fantastic. Plus maybe a $90,000 fine or something like that. Plus, and here's where it gets even better. If the home country of that non-citizen refused to cooperate with that non-citizen being removed from Australia, the Australian government may black ban all future visas, period, from that country. For what time? I don't think it was really mentioned. It may have been, I didn't see it. And the current opposition in Australia, that the snippet of the speech I just read out, that PM is a member of, he may have been out of government at that time, agreed, but still opposed this Migration Amendment Bill. Incredible, incredible. And the reworked bill that actually did go through was that Australia would pay, with taxpayer money, a third country to take non-citizens that were being removed from Australia. Does the Australian taxpayer have to pay for their medical care, their housing, or whatever in this third-party country? What's the annual bill for this, and what associated deals may Australia had to make? And in Australia at the moment, there may be something like 70, 75, 80,000 non-citizens with no valid visa to be in Australia. So what is the regime doing? What laws are being, or acts are being put through Parliament to remove those people? What sort of pressure are those people putting on the Australian systems? Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you can, and I'll keep rambling on the next one. Cheers.